Yes, and here we are, back for another year with the Dogify Fantasy Basketball League. First off-season podcast is coming your way. Got a huge show, as always, we do every time. We're going to be talking about some important information at the start of the year, a couple of changes that's going to be very important for every team to know. We're going to talk about the off-season trades. Lots happened in the NBA that can affect fantasy hugely. We're going to be talking about the new and returning teams. We'll be speaking on the phone to Porge about that one. We'll be talking about the new draft that's coming up. We'll also be chatting to the 2014-15 champion Splash, and then finishing off with some important dates about the draft, start of the season, and much more. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show.
Your friends they all sympathize, maybe I don't need that too.
Yes, we are back. So for another huge season, fantasy basketball coming your way. And this little section here, we're just talking about a bit of important information, a few changes this year to the league. We're always adjusting and, trying to update with the future. Some shit like that. So, first things first, this year is going to be actually a $10 buy-in to the league. Now, before you say what is going on, it's going towards a prize for the winner. So, how it's going to work is $10 buy-in for everyone. About 14 teams this year, so we'll pull $140, and the winning team at the end of the year gets a jersey from their highest average player on their team. So, let's say last year, Vince, if this rule was in place, he would have got a nice little jersey from Anthony Davis, his highest point getter. There's a little bit of a prize at the end of the year. On top of that, you still get the trophy and bragging rights. So, plenty to play for this year. Draft day, still to be decided. The start of the season starts around late October. So hopefully we'll try and get as close to the start of the season so any last-minute trades or injuries don't affect drafting. And it looks like there will be a draft day, so keep your dates open for that one. Also, need to get a yes and no for playing from some teams. I sent out a message a couple of weeks ago. Didn't get many replies. About half the league has responded. I know Vibe is a bit tricky, so if you are still interested in playing, please let me know. I've put in every team. Again, assuming everyone wants to play, but not 100% sure if everyone does. So please let me know. No stress if you don't want to play, but I do need to know whether or not you are keen or not for this year. And as mentioned, there are 14 teams this year. So we'll be talking next about new team that's in the league there. Also, a returning one that most people are wondering what is going on. So Porge will be back, and we'll be speaking to him next about the new and returning teams for the 2015-16 season. Okay, I know he said we're just going to talk about the new teams and have a chat to Porge, but he's out to breakfast, so we'll do that a little later on the show. We're going to skip forward a bit here and talk about the 2015-16 draft, which is coming up. So, draft time's always a very stressful time, only a minute to select your player, and of course, all depending on where you are in that draft order, which will be released shortly, what the order is. I'll do the usual pull out of a hat, Vince, so it's fair. But I thought we'd recap just last year's draft now and, make you start thinking about if it'd be similar, very different, if any players you think have jumped or, have got in the top round. Remember that with 14 teams now, those later rounds especially are going to get pretty shallow. So I could expect some players who are just put in and out to be permanent fixtures on teams. So let's have a look at last year's top 12. It's their first round one pick. It was the Double Mumbles who took Kevin Durant. Number 2 was LeBron James. Number 3, Steph Curry. 4, the man Anthony Davis went. Number 5 was Chris Paul. 6, LaMarcus Aldridge. At number 7, James Harden. And then 8, Kevin Love. He followed at number 9 by John Wall. Then Carmelo Anthony, number 10. He's an interesting one we haven't even mentioned yet. Number 11 was the Boogie, DeMarcus Cousins. And then rounding out the first round at number 12 was Blake Griffin. So, a pretty good first round, I reckon. I would be surprised if that wasn't pretty similar. Still, in round 2, there's a couple of absolute gems that might sneak into the first round there. So what do you think? Is that the top 3 of Durant, James and Curry? Is that going to be repeated? Or I think we all think that Anthony Davis might slide up to number 1 after the stellar season he had. All right, and speaking of drafts, we have Mr. Pat Double on the phone. Hello, Pat.
Hello, Condog.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's good. Look, so we've got you on the show, obviously, because we're talking about draft picks. Last year you had the number one pick. And I guess the first question we're going to ask is, if you had your time again, would you do the same thing you did last year?
Oh, probably not, because he was off injured 50%
Oh.
of the time.
He had a rough year, he certainly did, but hard to see, obviously, in hindsight, that happening.
Yeah.
But
You can't predict that kind of stuff.
that's true, and it was a bit of bad luck. But, I mean, you drafted all right after that. I mean, I think you got Rondo as well, yeah?
Yep.
DeAndre Jordan?
Yep.
Yep, so that Rondo, of course, had a pretty average year, but
Yeah, he was good when he was playing, when he was on a roll.
Yep.
But, yeah, unfortunately he got injured as well.
And DeAndre Jordan probably the second best fantasy player for the whole year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so he was
it's
good.
something to look at. So we're looking forward though, Pat. So I'm just wondering, seeing as you were the number one pick last year and new draft coming up pretty soon, who do you think's going to go?
Number one pick again this year? Or?
No, it does not. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't done the pull out of a hat yet. So
Well,
yeah,
so just like the same price as last year again to get number one draft pick? Or?
yeah, the same. Just the $50, and I'll give you that. Yeah,
Oh,
good one.
50. Okay, cool.
50, yeah. You laugh, but Vince will be seriously thinking this is true and crack the shits. But anyway, who do you think? Who do you think's going to go number one in the draft? Let's go with that first.
Oh, he can't go past Anthony Davis.
After the year he had,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have to agree with you, I think. And let's go number two.
Number two, toss up between Curry and Harden.
Okay, so Curry and Harden at 2 or 3.
Yeah, let's say 2 or 3.
Okay, and we'll just go to 5 because I won't stretch you too much. What about 4 and 5? Who do you think?
4 and 5 will be. Oh, can I give you 3 names?
Okay, we'll go 4, 5, 6. How about that?
Yeah, right. So Westbrook,
Yep.
James, and Durant, obviously.
So Westbrook, LeBron, and KD.
Yeah, I reckon he'll have. Kevin Durant will have a good year this year.
But you're not, are you too hurt? Are you not going to touch him though?
Oh, I probably won't touch him.
Because I'm forever scarred by Rudy Gay and Darren Williams. You know that.
Yeah.
So if there's a little hint for everyone. If it's coming up and you think you want Rudy Gay, don't worry about it before me. Beautiful. Well, that's a good 5. I think most people are thinking that, Pat. And wherever you land, hope you have a good year again. You thought of a name yet?
No, not yet.
No.
I'll come up with something.
All right. Well,
Something original.
yeah, I'm sure it'll be triple doubles or something just to keep it going. I think I got it then, didn't I? Yeah. So anyway, all right, Patrick. Thank you for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Well, there he was, Pat Double, number one draft pick of last year, giving us his thoughts. What do you think? Go onto the ESPN website, Dogify League. There's a poll there at the moment. Who you think's going to go number one? And we'll be back right after the break. Hopefully, Paul just finished his breakfast, and we can have a chat to him about returning next year. See you in a bit. Oh, and we are back. This little segment now we're talking about the 2 new teams that are coming back, or new teams that have come into the league, and just in a second we'll have Porge on the phone. But first one is Car Ramrod. If you haven't logged on already to ESPN, check out your team, change your name. It's all up and running again, so just log in with last year's password and username and you're ready to go. So already a couple team names come through. The real MVP, I think White Mumbers. There's a couple there. And Car Ramrod, a.k.a. Dave Martin, is one of our new teams this year. And of course, Poor Joe is coming back. So we end up with 14 teams. Each year we keep growing. And right now we have on the phone Chris Porjowski. Hello, Chris, you there?
Yes, mate. How you going?
Good, how are you today?
Yeah, good.
Breakfast was good?
Breakfast was really good, actually.
Good.
Had dessert for breakfast.
Beautiful. How can you go wrong having dessert for brekkie?
Exactly right, mate.
All right, let's get into this. So you're back. Big year ahead.
I am back, yeah.
What are your expectations or goals after returning for this year?
I guess the first one's just to stay in the season for the whole time would be good.
Yeah, important.
Yeah, without getting kicked out or anything like that. Just to get a whole season under my belt would be good. I've been out of it for a while, so I'm not sure is Jordan still playing or
Jordan is still playing. DeAndre Jordan or Michael Jordan?
no, Michael.
Yeah, he's playing for Hornets or something, I think. Yep.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah,
I might have a look at him.
Draft him. Yep.
It's been a while, mate. So just the whole season out would be good.
Beautiful. And what have you really learned after your year off? Like, obviously it's been, had a bit of time off. I know you love fantasy, so I think you've missed it a little bit. But, what's happened on the year off?
Year off's not a lot, to be honest. Nothing exciting. I learned a lot from the season where it all sort of fell to shit a little bit. But, just looking forward to this season. It's been a bit boring fantasy. AFL Supercoach, which I've been just quietly dominating in, isn't challenging enough for me these days, so it's good to get into the fantasy.
I mean, let's look at your year off. Like, you've got a promotion, you've got a missus. Like, maybe fantasy's really getting in the way of your life, Porge.
No, you're both negative things that you just mentioned, so hopefully fantasy gets me back on track.
Beautiful. All right, well, you're known for drafting bigs and having, like, a bigs-based team. Is that
I heard it was a bit of a small man's year last year, though.
Yeah, it was actually. It was a bit point guard dominated. I mean, knowing that though, has that will you change that approach, do you think, or?
No, I've got a specific way that I like to draft, which you know a little bit about. So I'm a very analytical, numbers-driven sort of person, so I'll just work on that. Doesn't matter what position they play. So
Beautiful.
I'll use my methods that I used a couple of seasons ago that seem to work. So I'll see how we go.
And Car Ramrod, new starting season. His first big day, first season. If you had some advice you could give him for his first year, what would your advice be?
Yeah, don't trust anyone would be the first one. Dave and I have gone back probably 20, 25 years and you can't trust me. So, just don't trust anyone, do your own thing and you're really making up the numbers in your first season anyway, so just enjoy it, mate. The title's out of your reach this season, so...
There's lots of changes in free agency. We'll be talking a bit about that later on this show. But I just want to throw a few things at you and get your thoughts about what effect it might have, not only on not just the players leaving, but even the teams they're leaving. So just a few thoughts on. So let's start with the Blazers. Aldridge, Batum, Wesley Matthews gone, Robin Lopez gone. So 4 of their starting 5 gone. I mean, what are your thoughts about the Blazers this year, fantasy wise?
Well, I think it's well documented that there's a player on that list that I'm completely in love with, who I reckon is going to go down as one of the greatest big men of all time.
Myers Leonard.
Name's Myers Leonard.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, he's probably not going to start even though half the team's gone. So shows how much I know. But if he could get in the starting 5, then I definitely will be looking at him.
And what about the Blazers just as a team this year? You think they're in with it or not?
I don't think you can after getting rid of that many players. It doesn't matter who you bring in. If you turn over that many players, I can't see it doing too well.
Okay, let's talk about the Pacers. So Hibbert's gone, Scholar's gone, but they do pick up Montrellis and maybe Paul George being healthy for a year. What do you think about them?
Who else is the tools for the Pacers?
You're testing me now because they've got a nobody. They've got a couple of nobodies, I think, there.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, no, David West gone as well, so they're really starting fresh again.
Well, that's what I was getting at, David Wesley.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I just don't think if you turn a team, turn that many players over in a team, you can actually do well. So, you saw what happened with Cleveland. They got 3 rippers in. Took them a while to get it to click. They eventually did, but
Yeah.
they would have won the championship if their guys were actually playing. So
Let's just jump off topic a bit. What about Paul George? What about him this year? I mean, is that broken leg too big of an injury for him to come back and be, a bit of an impact player?
well, everyone was telling me that Kevin Love's broken hand. He didn't come back from 2 seasons ago, and then he just came out, tore the comp to shreds. So you don't know. I don't think it's an issue. He's had a full year to recover, so it's just a broken leg. He hasn't. I didn't amputate the thing, so I don't think it's a massive deal. No.
All right, now let's talk about Detroit Pistons. Greg Munro goes, Ilyasova comes in, Reggie Jackson gets signed, Brandon Jennings still injured. I mean, is a Detroit firstly going to be a good team? And secondly, like the players last year, I know you probably heard that Drummond had a great year. Is he still going to keep doing what he's doing, in your opinion?
Yeah. The team won't go too well, but Andre Drummond's stocks just went through the roof. So I've definitely been looking at him nice and early, actually.
No, there you go.
So,
And what about Munro moving to Milwaukee? What do you think?
yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, he's a good big man, but it's all about moving teams for me. So I don't really know of a player who's just gone to another team and just killed it. So I don't think. I think there'll be a lot of hype around Munro getting his own balls away from Drummond, but it's a new team. Like, guys just don't click straight away. It'll take a while. So I think maybe later on if he's still there, but I don't think he will be. I think people get sucked in and take him pretty early, but he's still there later on. I might look at it, but yeah.
Okay, let's talk about just a couple more to go. The Mavs, Monta Ellis goes, Tyson Chandler goes, Rondo goes, and they do pick up Wesley Matthews, and really still without a point guard. So, I mean, firstly, the Mavs as a team, and secondly, even Wesley Matthews on the Mavs. What do you think?
I've never really followed the Mavs, to be honest, mate, so I don't really have a massive opinion on it.
I'm glad we checked these before we recorded, so I could have got the ones out there. Yeah.
The Mavs, no, I'm not interested really. I've never been a fan of them. So
How about Wesley Matthews then? You know, he had a good year last year before he got injured.
yeah, I don't think he's going to do much, to be honest.
So not huge on the players moving. Doesn't do much for you.
I generally think that players moving don't do very well. So that's just my opinion. But I don't think that guys going to new teams are necessarily going to be any good. So I think it takes a while to blend into a new team.
Beautiful. And I'd ask you, I had one more written down, the Nets with Darren Williams and Plum Lee, but I'm tipping you don't give a shit about them, especially.
I like Darren Williams,
So we can. We didn't even touch on what do you think about Paul Pierce going to the Clippers? That's one you'd be happy with.
I despise we've spoken about this off record quite a few times, Clay. So my three most hated players are Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Darren Williams. And Griffin.
So just
I
and
like Griffin.
everyone on the Clippers pretty much.
Yeah, we hate Steph Curry.
How could you not? All right, good one. So let's talk about. I'll be talking to Vince. Maybe I should ask him that question from you next.
Why does Steph Curry chew his mouth guard and not put it over his teeth?
Yeah, exactly right. Let's see what he says with that. All right, let's talk about your top 5. Just one more question. Top 5 projected draft picks coming up. Obviously, we went through earlier. We spoke to Pat about his top 5. What do you think? Who do you think's going to go in the top 5?
I think Anthony Davis is probably going number 1.
Yeah, that seems to be a common.
Given though, just from having a chat to a few different people. I'd probably say Davis. I think Steph Curry being the reigning MVP will probably go number 2.
Yep.
Then I don't think you can really look past and say Harden, Kevin Durant coming back would be interesting.
Yep.
And I can see Blake Griffin having a really good year actually.
So let's say, are you saying Davis 1, Curry? The third one you said was Harden, then Durant and Griffin.
Durant, Westbrook and Durant will sort of cancel each other out. Same as what happened with LeBron. I think they're sort of good mid to low first round picks, but this year. But I'd probably say, I can see Griffin just moving up a little bit. It's all changed since a few years ago, since I was doing it, but that's what I can see. I don't think the guys that are traditionally the top 3 or 4 players are going to be so next season. So it'll be very interesting to see.
Very interesting indeed. All right, Porge. Well, up next, we're going to be talking about a couple of the new rookies that are coming in the league. Can you hang around for a bit and have a chat about it?
Yeah, no dramas, mate.
All right, we'll be back right after this with the new rookies in the NBA. And we are back, and we're still talking to Porge. You still there, Porgy?
Yes, mate, I am. Yeah.
This little section here, we're going to be talking about some of the new rookies that are coming into the league. It was a draft about a month ago, I think, and a few teams picked up some gems. But the question is, they might be good NBA players, but I mean, are they going to, be good in fantasy? Are they going to be worth picking up? And the first one we're going to talk about, Porge, is Karl Anthony Towns, who went to Minnesota. Minnesota, just a plethora of number one draft picks. Do you think he's going to have any impact whatsoever fantasy-wise? It looks like he's going to start. What do you think?
I think it takes the rookies a little while to mold in, to be honest. So I just, I reckon he'll probably do alright during the later in the set. I don't reckon anyone will draft him. I reckon he'll stay on free agency for a little while and maybe work his way up and someone will pick him up later on. But I can't see him doing overly well to start off with.
The difference, I think, with this draft is that the top three are probably, they call them NBA ready, but they're not obviously NBA ready. They're built for the NBA. So Karl Anthony Towns, huge, like big bloke, massive unit. Like they usually have to put some weight on, like Porzingis, who went to the Knicks and stuff. But Karl Anthony Towns probably, especially out of everyone here, is the most player that could step onto the court and actually do something. You agree?
I agree, but then so was Wiggins last season.
It took him a while, obviously. He had a good end of the year, yeah.
So that's my point. They'll show something near the end of the year, but when you draft them, no way. Then next one, I'd imagine you're going to ask me about, I probably would draft.
D'Angelo Russell, that's the next one, yep.
Yeah, I probably would have a crack at him.
Because of his skill or because of his situation in LA?
Both. I've been doing a little bit of D'Angelo Russell scouting, actually.
Have you?
And, so yeah,
But I mean, you can't justify picking up a rookie until at least, I wouldn't touch one until round 7 or 8, even if they were a standout.
yeah, I would around there for D'Angelo Russell, maybe even a little bit early if I'm looking at a point guard. So,
But don't you think, like, I'm not trying to say you're wrong here, but thinking of like
sounds like it.
Damian Lillard, Wiggins, even the Rookie of the Year winners, even the Rookie of the Year winners in their rookie year were lucky to average 800.
Yeah, but I'd be happy with an 800 for my 6 pick.
Yeah, you're right, actually, I guess, yeah. If they got there. So you're looking between, 650 and 800.
Well, I had Lillard my first season in his first year, and that was only a 6-man league, and I had him most of the season.
Yeah.
He wasn't real good, to be honest, but he still was on there, so I would definitely have a look at D'Angelo Russell. If he's pulling 800 and I'm getting him around 6 or 7, then I'd definitely be looking at him.
Cool. The third one is Jahlil Okafor, 76ers, with Joel Embiid out again. It looks like that Okafor and Nerlens Noel will start.
Yeah.
I mean, just another same as Karl Anthony Towns, you reckon? Like, just one of the ones that's going to take a little bit?
No, I can't admit on it. I reckon there's too much hype around Noel, so I reckon Okafor's a good little pickup, to be honest.
He's definitely going to take rebounds. He's definitely going to take points. Well, Noel's more of a defensive man anyway. So I agree. I think it's going to have a bit of a negative effect on Noel.
I don't even reckon Noel's going to get. I reckon Noel will probably go late. If I have the chance, I'll probably sit down there at the big. I'd go Okafor before I go Noel. So
Yeah, we sort of know what Noel's going to do, don't we?
he looks like a beast.
Yeah.
He looks like he's ready to rock. So I'd look at him, but once again, like it's sort of a late. There's a lot better out there, but if I needed something and he was not there, I'd be happy.
Next one is nearly your namesake, Kristaps Porzingis from the New York Knicks. Big lanky man, reminds me of Alex Len. He's been good in summer league, a lot of blocks. I mean, he's going to start. What do you think?
I'm looking at getting the Singles, don't worry.
Yeah, I bet you are. So, what do you think about him? He's going to start on a pretty poor New York team alongside Robin Lopez. So, other than Carmelo, and I know they got a Flolo, there's not much scoring there. Is this a sneaky one? Is he a sneaky one to pick up, do you think, that might pay off?
I reckon he is, yeah.
Yeah, he's long. He's super long.
Yeah, no, I'd be, yeah, there's a couple of good rookies in there, like a couple of good tools that are good to pick up, but I mean, you can't, it's hard, but it's good, because they're young and they're inexperienced, they get boxed out pretty easy and they're not going to pull the numbers that they're pulling, even in summer league and all that kind of stuff, so, yeah, it'd be interesting, like, he might be alright, he could come out. You look at like Kelly Olynyk and these kinds of guys, well, they're going to take a few years,
Yeah.
so they just get a bit more size about them, so...
Wait and see.
Yeah, like I think Nell's going to be sicko, but he's still a couple of years away, same with Okafor, and you saw with, finally see Drummond starting to come
Yeah.
show us what he can do, because he's just got a bit more size about him, so the younger guys, yeah, maybe, but, they're sort of... They're at the bottom of the barrel, as the things that you pick up, so...
Okay, I'll just do 5. I knew we were going to do a bit more, but I'll just do 5 because the listeners might be getting a porridge overdose here. So, Mario Hezonja, who's Orlando. This is probably the one in the top 5 that I know not as much about, and I'm sure everyone's the same, but he had an absolute dominating summer league, like a couple times got 25 points and is a beast. So, I mean, have you seen much about him, or what are your thoughts?
I've never heard his name before, you've just said it, so...
And on top of that, well, I'll say it then, on top of that too in Orlando, he's not going to crack the starting 5. You've got, people like, I can't even think of his name, Elfrid Payton from last year. You've got all these players that he's not going to crack that starting 5. So I think he's maybe one, he plays small forward. Yeah, so I agree too. Well, so it sounds like, Borja, overall we're thinking about, just like we usually do most years, that it takes a little bit of time for these rookies to get going for fantasy-wise. But I guess it's just a wait and see if someone pulls the trigger and has a go at them. It could make or break your season, really, couldn't it?
Yeah, the season's like I said, I've been out of it for a little while, so I don't really, I don't know exactly how I'm going to go about it still. Still got a little bit thing to do, maybe watch a few games, but we'll see how we go. So it'll be interesting. It's good to be back. I feel normal again, Clay, to be honest.
Feel rejuvenated, ready to roll.
I feel like a new man, yeah, like all these setbacks, like the misses and stuff like that. It'll be good to put that behind me and just get on with it. So.
Beautiful. Well, Porge, we thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and good luck for the season.
I've got some entourage to watch for it.
Good. All right, well, coming up next, we're going to be talking to your housemate, Vince Tran, Splash, about last year, and what he thinks about this year. Stick around.
We don't need each other now. We don't need the city, the creed or the culture now.
All right, here we are as promised. Vince Tran, hello, mate. You there?
Yeah, I'm here, mate.
Okay, beautiful. Look, firstly, congrats on the championship last year. Not only Splash taking the Bickies, but also Golden State Warriors. So you're a happy man.
Yeah, it was a perfect basketball year. Couldn't ask for much more, really.
Beautiful. Well, first question, what do you think the key factor was, you think, in your opinion, in having a winning team?
I reckon definitely the key factor was Anthony Davis dropping to me at, I think, number 3.
Yeah, thank you, Reese.
Or was that number 3 or number 4?
4, I think. Yeah,
he was the best player for the whole year, so I was lucky for him to fall to me.
And it was like having 2, wasn't it, with the scores he was taking?
Oh, yeah, and considering I would have taken Curry before him, it all worked out, really.
Beautiful. Thank you, Reese. And so talking about the draft, you drafted well. I know you were ranked as one of the worst teams after the draft, based mostly on, it seemed like there was a few players you took a risk on. Looking back now, it was great risks like your Tyreek Evans and that. But, I mean, do you think taking a risk on players in the draft of what they might be able to do rather than playing it safe is a good way to get ahead of other teams in the league?
Well, the way I look at it is other people might see it as risk, my drafting, but I knew what they were capable of, and I'm just a good
You're not going to say I'm a fucking genius drafter, are you?
No, I just know I know how to look out for talent, mate.
Oh, the scout. Fuck off, mate. All right.
That's what I was looking for. I'm a good scout.
Yeah, fuck off. Other than Davis, though, you drafted Butler like round 5. That was a steal. Looking back, I mean, do you expect him to? Do you expect him to go earlier this year? What were we going to say? Sorry.
What was that?
You don't just go back. You don't think he was a steal at round 5?
I was surprised that he dropped to 5, to be honest, because that was pretty late.
Yeah.
How many rounds are there?
12, 10.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess it was a bit of a stretch to pick him up in the round 5, but
He did
worked out for me.
he did have a stellar year though. So do you expect him to go earlier this year?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I reckon he'll probably stay around that mid-round value.
Would you if he was there, say, would you pull the trigger on him earlier? If it was, that's just you talking, or you think round 5 is where he deserves to be?
I reckon round 5 is probably where he deserves to be.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to get a quick little opinion. We've got about 5 topics here, just 1 or 2 word answers. What you think of these things that have changed in the NBA since we last were playing fantasy. You ready?
Yep.
All right. First, LaMarcus Aldridge. Opinion.
Good, great pickup by the Spurs. If they don't win the championship this year, then they don't deserve it.
What about fantasy-wise?
Fantasy-wise, he'll most likely take a dip in numbers, I'd say.
Because of time. Good old Popovich.
Yeah, just the way their system runs.
Cool. All right. Number 2, the Clippers. What do you think?
Massive pickup for Josh Smith just the other day.
Yeah.
They've always got a chance.
Yeah, their bench is looking solid now, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but there are a lot of blokes on there that are that could mess with the team unity.
Yep.
Lance Stevenson, I'm not too sure. I still don't like him.
You've always hated him, haven't you?
Oh, he's no good.
Yeah. All right, Paul George. What do you think about Paul George in this year?
He might start off slow, but I reckon he'll get to probably around mid to high round value towards the middle of the year.
Yep. Rondo.
Rondo is a dark horse.
As in, like, you.
He can go either way, really.
So you're still not sure about him at the Kings?
Nah.
So it could go either way. All right, what about the Blazers now this year? They had a lot of trouble.
They're fucked.
They're fucked. Good, yeah. I could have
I'll
said
let
it.
them swear on this podcast.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about...
They're screwed, mate.
Yeah, done. I agree with you. What about the Mavs?
The Mavs, I reckon they'll do alright. Picking up Darren Williams, I reckon he'll go alright there.
They needed something after the DeAndre fiasco, though, didn't you? Didn't they?
Yeah, and they've got Wes Matthews, but I don't know how he'll go coming back off that Achilles.
Yeah. They're like Bryant, they're usually pretty slow, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, finally, we spoke earlier in the this podcast about the draft. I've asked Pat, I've asked Porge about their projected top 5, and we're getting some similarities. If you were to pick the top 5 today that you think is going to go in the draft, starting from number 1, who do you think it's going to be?
My opinion, or like who I think will go, or who I would pick.
Who you think will go?
Probably, you can't go past LeBron. The way he played in the finals, he only wants to get better.
As number 1?
He'll go number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'd go Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Yep.
He's going to start beating. Number 3, Kevin Durant.
Yep. Even after the injury?
Even after the injury, you
Yep.
can't count him out.
Yeah, I agree. Number 4?
Number 4, who else is there?
You got...
I want to say Curry, but I don't reckon he'll go in the top 5, to be honest.
You don't? Even after MVP year?
MVP year, but his fantasy numbers weren't great last year.
Yeah.
Or better the year before.
Well, you got Harden, you got Chris Paul, you got Griffin.
I would have taken Griffin in the top 5 if DeAndre left,
Yep.
but because that's not the case, I won't take him.
Okay, so at the moment we've got from you LeBron, Davis, and then Durant.
Yep.
Yep, so you got
I'll go Westbrook. I reckon he'll go high.
Westbrook at 4.
Yep. And then Harden probably.
Harden
or Curry.
Harden or Curry at 5.
Or Paul. I don't know.
Got no idea. So you don't think, like, I obviously me being Oklahoma man, I always think about drafting Oklahoma people, but do you don't think Durant coming back, there's a negative A that he's going to take Westbrook's points away from him, or B, he won't get as much as the ball, you know what I mean? Like they both counteract a negative on each other?
They've played together for how many years now, and they're both great players, so I don't see it impacting the fantasy score too much.
Beautiful. All right, good job, Vince. Well, thank you for your time, mate. Good luck. I don't want you to go back to back, but I know you're thinking about it.
Me as the champ, actually, mate.
Sorry?
You can refer to me as the champ.
Oh,
Oh, well.
how many people are going to be listening to this going, fuck Vince this year? You're in trouble. So,
Come at me, mate.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for your time, mate, and good luck for the new year.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
See you, buddy.
All right, bye.
Well, there he was, Vince Tran champion, and just looking down there, we're running at about 56 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this one up quick. Big thank you to Vince, Porge, and Pat for all of their their interviews today, I guess, and all their expertise. Some important dates will be coming up pretty soon, so just keep an eye on the website, on the ESPN website, and we'll let you know what's going on with the draft day. But good luck to everyone in the new upcoming season. Make sure you get on there, change your names as always, and we will see you again, hopefully, in one more podcast before the season starts. Thanks a lot.